the new language is for checking is how much is the word with involved. Am I with Baba? Am I with Gyan? And one of the things that probably, as he was saying today, the greatest gift is the gift of love. But it's love based on understanding. Baba once said, I am the ocean of love because I am the ocean of knowledge. So it's because of what he knows about everything and everyone that he has such feelings for us. It means it's as if because he knows what he knows, there's no other thing to do except to love. So if I really knew what Baba knows, I would definitely love myself. That's where it starts, isn't it? So Baba's very lovable, but how lovable am I? When I look at myself, that's basically the thing that we have to sort out, our love. It's been scattered. It's been divided, a bit here, a bit there. Over time, we've come to not even understand what love is. But it's what our biggest gift from God is, the gift of love. His love for us heals us. But I have to take that love and use it for myself as well. So if I don't love myself in the same way that Baba loves me, there will be always a gap. And part of that was just recently, I think, was it yesterday? I'm not sure. Today is today? No, the day of the month. 20th. 21st, okay. A couple of days ago, it was my turn to do some reflection on the Murli experiences. And my feeling was, again, what I have to do is to learn how to love. It's a love that got destroyed over time. Of course, as purity and power went down, we had to sort of spread the love around so that we could, keep all of our options open. And that actually ended up weakening us even more, so that what was love became attachment. And then, to different generations even, like Baba said today, grandchildren. So everything with Baba except grandchild. Everything with Baba except my job, for example. I love to do this, but I love Baba, I love to do service, I love so many things, but this is my special interest. And it's not really under the canopy of Baba's protection then. So it will create problems, definitely create problems. So recently I've been thinking about what are the real energetic opposites of the vices. So the opposite of attachment is not really detachment, it's love. I don't need to make efforts to become detached. I need to make efforts to learn to love. If all of the things that I'm attached to, I learn to love as Baba loves, there won't be any problem. So it's not, detaching is like sort of turning off all of the taps, right? Turning off all of, plugging up all of the holes, tying up all of the loose ends. No. You don't need to do anything like that. You just have to, if you've got an attachment, love that person to death. Give that soul, that individual, that grandchild, so much of God's love that becoming detached is irrelevant. So we make efforts maybe in a negative way to not this and to not that and to abstain from this and to abstain from that. All I have to do is to sort out the way I love. For example, the opposite of arrogance is not humility, it's self-respect. And self-respect is loving the soul in the same way Baba loves the soul, basically. Seeing the value in the self and basing our lives on that value. Understanding, accepting without any ego that I am this special, valuable, fortunate, wonderful child of God. There's no one like me. So this sense of uniqueness and speciality is not arrogance. And that self-respect is unshakable. So I love myself in such a way, yeah, in the same way that Baba sees me. Not many of us here have had that experience of sitting personally in front of Baba and getting that powerful, unlimited drishti. It's unforgettable. You know, the soul feels completely. You're in front of God. He knows you completely. You're absolutely naked. There's nothing you can hide. All of your nasty stuff is there revealed because you can't hide it. And for Baba, it does not matter. His vision, his drishti penetrates all of the rubbish and the junk and just sees the soul's value. So I can learn about self-respect through God's drishti, basically. How does he see me? Why don't I see me like Baba sees me? What stops me from seeing myself in such a way? His love penetrates all the junk and sees the best in me. And he wants, just his drishti will make me feel good, right? You know, I've seen many souls sit in front of Baba before and they were saying, this is in the time of the personal meetings, so many personal meetings, God. They'd be saying, I want to ask Baba this. They'd even invent a question so that they'd have more time with Baba, right? They'd invent a problem even. Anything to say Baba would he said he'd like anything. So they would invent something. But in fact, when you get in front of Baba, you forget all of that. You just become, that expression I've seen more. Because Baba's vision clears out all of the rubbish and the junk and the cobwebs and everything. And he sees me as I really am. He was talking about the sparkling souls. Baba will see the sparkling souls. You won't see our gross bodies sitting there, the nose like this and ears like that, or eyes this way or hair that way. He will see the sparkling jewel, the diamond, the one out of multi-millions. So self-respect is to see the soul as that very special, unique soul that has a very special part to play in the world drama. It's whatever we're doing, it really is namesake. That you were born in this particular body, in that particular family, and have this particular job and so on. But that's sort of, they're just details. So we have to do them, but that's not the real soul. My purpose is to give those treasures to the world. Baba once in one of the small meetings I'm talking about the late 70s. There were just a few foreigners. A couple of things, and those meetings somehow were always in the history hall. So there weren't many people. The more there was in the history hall. And at the end, as people were milling around and some personal meeting, very family-like, right? And Baba said, wait you guys, wait to the foreigners. And he said, gives drishti, he said, you know what, you people think too much. Is that right?
Feeling is more important than...
No, there's too much thinking. Like we get caught up in situations mentally and we can't extricate ourselves from them. So Baba was saying, you don't think so much. In fact, meditation is much more about feeling than thinking. And love is what heals our feelings, isn't it? It doesn't really heal our thinking. We're stuck. Wherever we're stuck, it's the feeling that is stuck, really. The thoughts are consequences of the stuck feelings. So what do I feel about things? And what is the best feeling that I can have about things? It must be the love that Baba has, isn't it? So I can heal all the things that I'm connected with by healing the feelings and making sure that the feelings that I have are like the sort of feelings that Baba has for us. He sees us, just specials. In another of those meetings, he said, after the long wish, he said, you've only taken birth outside of India to do service. You went to those places because it would be difficult for visas, right? So instead of having, he said this really, literally, he said, a lot of you know here how difficult visa is to get to Australia, right? So, but if you're born there, you don't need a visa. I was saying things like that, you were born you went to those places from here to do service. Whatever you're doing there is like, detail, but your real reason that you were born in a particular place is to do service. So if your reason for being is to serve, how would you feel? You'll probably feel ashamed if you don't do it, right? And shame is actually there's no escape from it. If you, I'll show you something here. I don't have a pen. Give me a pen. Yeah, thanks. I don't know if this will work. But we've got a way in which we make excuses for ourselves. It's actually inbuilt into our mechanism over the cycle, Because as the cycle turns, there's gold, silver, copper, iron, okay? Now look what happens. Got the swastika here, right? Golden age, everything's going fantastically, right? But the cycle spins. Now it's the time of the silver age. Everything looks okay. Because they don't remember the golden age. Silver age has come up. Everything's fine, wonderful, great. And copper age comes up. They don't even remember the golden and silver age. Copper age, everything looks great for the copper age souls, right? This is how things are. This is wonderful. Then the iron age comes up. Iron age turn. And the souls that take birth in the iron age, they have their golden age in the iron age. Even the last birth. So even the last ones that come along, this is great here. It was fantastic. So permanently, everything looks right, and we're making adjustments all the time. Well, you know, like if you look, you see the scripture, well, Christ didn't really mean that. What he meant was, you know, so they make apologies for all of the vices to permit them to exist. And we are absolute experts in accommodating weakness. Right? Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I get up one day, oh, everything looks good. Actually, I forget what I haven't done. I forget what I did that I shouldn't have done, and I conveniently forget what I haven't done. There we go. Up for the morning again, right? Here we are. And it becomes difficult to check because we don't have a measuring stick. If I'm trying to compare, if I compare myself with others, I become completely lost. The only measuring stick, in fact, is Baba and Baba's love. So the love that has been, shattered into little bits of attachment. The love that started out in the beginning of the Golden Age, absolutely unlimited. Even there wasn't a word for love, it was so complete. Then it becomes Silver Aged love, and then it becomes Copper Aged love, and then it becomes Iron. It's the same love, but it's more and more shattered, more and more broken into little pieces. Love for this thing, love for that one, love for my bank account, love for my car, love for grandchildren. You know? So what was unlimited became very, very focused on just a few things, and that's what attachment is. We had such a sense of vastness, the sky, as Baba said, the sky and the ocean. Everything belongs to us in the Golden. Everything belongs to us, but there's no sense of belonging because there's no sense of separation. And then we, you know, like yesterday I was saying, the territories, this is my land, this is my water, this is my whatever. The things that we think we own end up owning us. So that sense of self so vast becomes reduced, and like Baba says, the mouse that finds a chickpea and opens up a shop, because having a little, I think the soul thinks that that's fantastic. You know, this is the eternal adjustment in the cycle. Don't have anything, but I'm still the master of this chickpea. So the sense of self is very vast. Very vast. Also, you know, the opposite of, you say that lust is just love for your own senses. Even sex lust is actually love for your own sense organs, not for someone else's. We use other people's body to privilege our own sense organs, for example. We use things, because lust is not just, it's related to the word luxury, you know, lust, from Latin. So, comfort, just think about it. Delicious comfort. It's also a subtle form of lust. It's wanting to serve your sense organs. That's what lust is. With music, it's not that you shouldn't enjoy music, but you can be, oh wow, you know, what incredible music, what incredible sound, that's lust. And you get stuck in the things that you hear. In the mud of body consciousness, as Baba calls us. is to understand, if I understand really that matter in all of its shapes and forms and all of the sounds and noises and colours that it can produce cannot substitute what God gives me, first of all. And if I activate my serving others, I don't need to worry about how my senses are going to be served. It will happen. So if my vision is to serve others, it's the energetic opposite of lust. So the opposite of lust is not abstention, it's service. Yeah. The opposite of ego is self-respect. The opposite of anger is not peace. It's spiritual power. We get angry because we don't have spiritual power. If we had spiritual power, we'd probably sort out the things that we get angry about. But because we don't have it, we have to raise our voice or raise our temperature in our thoughts, red face, heat up. It's when we have spiritual power that there's peace. So when we have self-respect, that there's humility. It's when we have this attitude of service, then we have our sense organs under control. It's when we have the pure love that we are actually detached. And of course greed is there too. The opposite of greed is not parsimony, having little, but it's fulfillment, spiritual fulfillment. If I feel full, what would I have greed for? And I can neutralize all of the vices by applying the different forms of God's love. So am I in Gyan or with Gyan? Am I doing things for Baba or with Baba? Actually both, right? Baba doesn't need, but that's our language, isn't it? When you're cooking in the kitchen, are you doing it with Baba or just doing it because, that's why it says duty, right? Do we do things out of love or out of duty? Do I get up in the morning, sort of jump out of bed, right? Rush to the meditation room, or just sort of drag myself over? Someone has to come along with a sort of giant spatula to sort of dig me out of the bed. Sort of Velcro on my back. So the motivation to do things. Why do I go to work? I go to work to sort of face those cranky bosses and sort of unhappy work colleagues, to earn, more or less something. Or do I go to work to serve? That's my real motive. To serve is to activate the love that God gives us, basically. And if I don't do that, if I don't activate it, it won't have a place in my life. It has to be real. This is Baba's saying for the Kumaris, this is the real deal. This is it, the one deal of the whole cycle that we have to get right. Baba's not mucking around. He's very serious about his side of the bargain. How serious am I? And that will create the number. Yeah? I'll get out of it exactly what I put in. no more, no less. The quality and the degree of of my dedication has its exact return. One of the meanings of the word saja in Hindi is punishment. Actually, it means the just return. It's the absolute just return for what I do. So it's not really someone punishing us. It's a heavy word in Christian context, the word punishment. But it's just really the absolutely exact return for whatever I've done. So we can't really complain if things don't work out. That's the just return of something that I did or didn't do. Yeah? And if everything's sort of smoothly flying along, there will be obstacles, yes, but they will be not so important because I've already picked up the momentum. So who feels that they have enough momentum to get them through? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No. Could you do with a little more momentum?